Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Pekoski, recent reports have revealed concerning details about your agency's previously undisclosed Quiet Skies program. Under the program, air marshals monitor American travelers who aren't suspected of any crime and aren't on any watch list. Mr. Pekoski, I want to learn more about what exactly the TSA is monitoring. Does the TSA monitor whether Americans go to the bathroom during flights?
Sir, the Quiet Skies program is not a new program. It's been in existence since about 2011.
Does the TSA monitor whether Americans go to the bathroom during flights?
Sir, we place federal air marshals on flights where some Quiet Skies selectees may be passengers.
So yes or no, do you monitor?
And part of their presence to mitigate the risk of a Quiet Skies passenger?
Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Does the TSA monitor what Americans eat or drink on a flight?
We don't monitor. I would not use the term monitor. We observe. This is a law enforcement mission.
So the answer is yes.
They observe, yes, sir.
Does the TSA follow Americans after they're deplaned and are walking to their car or taxi?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So again, the American public does deserve to know the extent to which they are being surveilled. Again, we are talking about Americans who aren't on any watch list and aren't suspected of any crimes. Who at TSA determines what passengers land on the Quiet Skies list?
Quiet Skies is an intelligence-based risk assessment program, sir, that's operated by rules. And so the rule set that's reviewed continuously, and changes to those rules can only be approved by myself or my deputy.
Okay, once you gather information about flying Americans, where is the data stored and who has access to that information?
The data is stored in our intelligence officer, and our intelligence professionals have access to that information.
It's limited to them.
Right.
What do you do with the information about innocent Americans? Do you delete it immediately?
With respect to an individual who would be a Quiet Sky selectee based on rules, based on intelligence, if after a certain period of time...
What is the period of time?
I can't reveal that in open session, sir, but there is a period of time. It is short.
Well, if they haven't done anything wrong, why is it not immediately?
We, by our rules, want to see a certain number of encounters before they're removed from that program.
Even if you've already determined that they're innocent?
We would not have made that determination.
Once you've determined that they're innocent,
then
do you then delete it immediately?
So once we determine, I wouldn't use the term innocent either. Once we determine that they don't present a risk, an additional risk to security, then they are removed from the Quiet Skies program. Those records are retained for 2 years.
2 years?
Sir.
Even though they're innocent Americans, they haven't. You don't have any reason to have.
Sorry, I wouldn't say that. I would say that it's a rules-based program that assesses risk. People that are selected for Quiet Skies based on patterns of travel, in our view, informed by intelligence, represent more risk than other passengers do.
Right, but having surveilled them and not able and not having any evidence which has been developed, it just seems to me that they do have a right to the presumption of innocence. I'm also concerned that the Quiet Skies program may not pass constitutional muster. Mr. Pekoski, does TSA take into account characteristics like a traveler's name when determining who to monitor?
We take into consideration a traveler's record. We do not take into consideration a traveler's race or religion.
So identifiers like race or religion or their name can clearly be used as proxies for race and religion. Monitoring travelers based on these criteria raises pressing concerns about the constitutionality of the Quiet Skies program. So you are saying that you do not use race, religion, or the traveler's name in determining who to monitor?
We don't use race or religion, sir. We do, of course, use the traveler's name because that's part of the reservation data.
Right, but is a traveler's name used to create a suspect category just because of the traveler's name, not with any with no other information gathered about him or her, with the exception of the name?
No, sir. It wouldn't be the name all by itself. It would be the name and other criteria.
All right, the American public also deserves to know whether other agencies besides TSA are involved here. Does the White House or Department of Justice have any involvement with this program?
This program is part of a privacy impact assessment that's been published on the DHS website for years, and we do use the travel vetting system that Customs and Border Protection employs.
So does the White House or Department of Justice have any involvement in this program?
Involvement meaning what, sir?
Are they
Awareness of?
participating? Yeah, are they participating in this program?
The White House, to my view, is not participating in the
Okay,
program.
and the Department of Justice, do
a-
they have any involvement with the program, the Department of Justice?
This is a law enforcement program. Department of Justice may in certain circumstances, but it wouldn't be based just on Quiet Skies.
Air marshals have recently come forward and voiced doubts about the Quiet Skies program, which they say saps their ability to do more vital law enforcement work. Approximately how many people has TSA monitored so far under the program?
So I don't have those numbers right in front of me. I'd be happy to provide them to you for the record, because we do record those numbers.
Could you give me a range?
I would say, in Quiet Skies with the air marshal involvement, it's in the thousands of passengers.
Okay, of those, how many were American citizens?
I don't have that information off the top of my head.
How many individuals surveilled under the Quiet Skies program have been arrested or prosecuted?
I don't believe anybody has been arrested or prosecuted. However, people that are in the Quiet Skies program have eventually been determined to be part of a larger selectee pool based on what the Quiet Skies program.
I appreciate that, but no one's been arrested or prosecuted yet. And how many threats has the program foiled thus far?
The program is a prevention program designed to mitigate risk on board aircraft. And so, like many of our prevention programs, there's no particular plot that's been foiled as a result.
So it hasn't foiled any threats yet?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. And without knowing more, the program appears like a huge waste of taxpayer dollars and an infringement on our privacy. This is a vast program that actually takes Americans and puts them into a suspect category, and thus far there's no evidence that it has produced anything that would in fact enhance the safety of the American flying public. So from my perspective, it is something that you should seriously reconsider because to me it just does look like a huge waste of taxpayer dollars. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Senator Markey.